demand curve for coffee. This is something we did in class. We learned about elasticities. And elasticities, or sensitivity to price, says that if you are elastic or inelastic for a good, that's going to affect how you buy it if the price changes. So we're going to assume that coffee is relatively elastic, meaning that people are pretty sensitive to the price of coffee. So if it goes up, based on economic theory, the price of coffee goes up, the quantity of demand is going to go down. This doesn't really happen though. Starbucks coffee is way more expensive than its competitors. It's more expensive than Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's or coffee you can buy at Walmart and make it your home. There are a lot of substitutes for coffee that are cheaper than Starbucks, but for some reason, people go to Starbucks and they pay a lot of money for coffee. How many people go to Starbucks and buy coffee from there? Are people being honest? In terms of economics, if you go to Starbucks and you buy coffee, you're an idiot. You are being swindled and tricked out of your money by Starbucks because you can go somewhere else and get coffee.
You can't make it like Starbucks makes it.
Okay.
I've had several coffee machines. You can't make it like Starbucks.
Okay, you say that Starbucks is coffee, but Nicole, do you like Starbucks coffee?
No.
You don't. What would you say is better than Starbucks? Aspen's better than Starbucks.
I've never had that.
Never had that. And see this is the thing. It's not so black and white as this graph would say, that the price of coffee goes up, people are going to buy less. Well, other things go into it. Taste preferences, psychology, but more specifically, the success of Starbucks is attributed to herding and angling. So let's take a hypothetical situation. Let's say we're back in the 1970s, became established. You're a coffee drinker. You've never heard of Starbucks. Let's say you get your coffee from Walmart. You make it at home. You buy a thing of Folgers for $10. And you can make coffee at your home. And one day you're going to work and you see this building. You see Starbucks coffee. So obviously it's a coffee shop. And you see the Starbucks logo. You see green awning. You see the great architecture. You see a patio out front. And you see big windows. And big windows are key. A lot of businesses use windows in their storefront so that you can see into the business. They want you to look in and see other people inside and other people patronizing your business. So hypothetical situation, you're going to work, you see this building pop up, you see it's a coffee house, you don't really think anything of it because you already have your cup of coffee. You bought it from Walmart, you don't really need some new place to get coffee. So you don't really think anything of it. The next day, you see a couple more people in there. Now again, not really a big deal, just a few people. So you go along your way, don't really think anything of it. Next day, it's a couple more people. Now again, nothing too earth-shattering. You have your coffee, you don't need anything else. Next day, a couple more people. And one day, you see that the entire store is crowded. Just a bunch of people in there. And your natural inclination is to wonder, why are there so many people in Starbucks? Why are there so many people going there to get your coffee? And at that moment, you make the decision to go to Starbucks and try their coffee. Not because you know anything about the product, not because you know that it's better or worse than anything else, but because you see a huge group of people inside buying the coffee. You go in there, and the first thing you notice is what? You smell the aroma of coffee, you hear their relaxing music, you see the furniture. It seems like a very relaxing place to be, a good place to hang out, just a very welcoming place. And you go up to the counter, and you see instead of seeing small, medium, large sizes, you see tall, grande, and venti. And this makes it feel very authentic. A real Italian coffee shop. That stuff, it plays a major role. It plays a role in the psychology of your decision. So you look at the prices, and you notice that they're more expensive than we're used to. It's a very expensive cup of coffee. But at this point, based on herding, based on the fact that other people were there, shopping there, a lot of people, you've already made the decision to buy the coffee, just to try it out. No matter what the price is, no matter, nothing else based on this one decision. So you buy the cup of coffee. You try it, it's nothing that amazing. Maybe it's the best cup of coffee you've ever had, maybe it's decent, maybe it's okay. You try it, you're satisfied. The next day, you wake up, and you're wondering, am I going to go to get my coffee? You think to yourself, I can make Folgers at home, or I can go to Starbucks. I went to Starbucks. I liked the atmosphere. It was very welcoming. I enjoyed being there, and it was a good cup of coffee. So you make the decision to go there again. You get a cup of coffee. You don't mind paying a higher price because the whole package that Starbucks has to offer, it's a good experience. It's not just coffee, it's the experience of going there and being in the atmosphere and hanging out with your friends. It's just a total package. So what happens is the next day you do the same thing. You just have to go there and buy coffee again. And the more and more you do this, something very interesting happens. The more and more you go to someplace else, the anchor for your coffee begins to shift. Before Starbucks, your anchor for coffee was what you went to Walmart and paid for. The price you put on coffee psychologically was whatever you were paying before. But all of a sudden, you start paying much more, and you like it. And so all of a sudden, your anchor shifts from what it was before to Starbucks. And this is a very hard thing to do. There's a reason it's called anchoring, because it's a very solid, established idea. What you're willing to pay for something is very hard to change. The price of a t-shirt is $15. It's going to be very hard for him to start paying more for a t-shirt. It's going to be very hard for him to psychologically say, okay, I like this t-shirt more, I'm going to start consistently paying more for it. But Starbucks was able to do this. When a company enters a market, generally, when they want to be successful, they find some way of innovating. Innovating their product or innovating their service. Coffee, there isn't really a lot of innovation or room for innovation. Coffee is coffee. Cappuccinos, frappuccinos, whatever. There's not a lot of innovation to be made. And Starbucks knew this. And so they used the atmosphere, and they used the music and the noises and the furniture and everything to grab you in and to make you come back so that your anchor will shift. And eventually your place to get coffee is going to be Starbucks. Now that was a hypothetical situation. Nowadays we don't really go through that kind of process. Back when it was established, those were very important things because they were trying to take consumers away from other businesses. They had to literally make people want to forget about something that they were doing consistently, habitually, and start doing and going to their business. Nowadays, it's not really necessary. Our generation of people, when we think of coffee, the first thing we think of is Starbucks. Over the decades of utilizing herding and anchoring, they were able to establish a very, very strong foothold on the market. You can kind of see that in the fact that Starbucks doesn't really advertise. If you look around, you watch TV, you don't see a lot of Starbucks commercials. You see Dunkin' Donuts commercials, but you won't really see Starbucks. You don't see Starbucks ads in the newspaper or in magazines. They don't really have to advertise because psychologically they've already established the fact that they are the place to go to get coffee. What's my time? Did I go through that really fast?
I don't know. What time is it?
Okay, all right.
I got a question.
What's that?
Well, I mean, you go to Roots and you're getting an 8-ounce cup of coffee like this for $1.75.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to Starbucks and you're getting a cup of coffee like this for $4.50. What's the difference?
What do you mean what's the difference?
I mean, it's the same.
It's the same coffee, but you're paying a lot more for it. You're paying a lot more for Starbucks.
I don't know. I mean, if you're getting a cup of coffee that's 8 ounces at Roots for $2, it's not really that much difference. You're getting flavors, you're getting teas, you're getting, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
The thing there is not that Starbucks is any particularly different. But you have to look at it as a whole market. A couple weeks ago, we talked about business structure. Monopolies, oligopolies, perfect competition. Starbucks is something that's described as perfect competition because there are a lot of other businesses or a lot of other places to get coffee, and there are a lot of substitutes. But consistently, Starbucks is more expensive. But people continue to go there. It doesn't make sense. Because if there are a lot of substitutes, and it's not, and you are relatively elastic for that good, you would think that they're not going to pay a lot more money. That's why they were successful. It's because they were able to utilize psychology to go against traditional economic theory and make people make irrational decisions on what they want to do. And And then last is the test question you guys have to know. Write it down.
It's on the lab.
I know. It's really hot up here. I'm not going to wear that jacket because I am really, really hot. That's the way it
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like a response to the city's.
Yeah, any questions you guys have, I'm happy to ask.
Okay, well, she said, what's the difference between Roots and Starbucks? Well, I really think that there's not really like a difference, but more of you're buying the brand name, and you're pretty much telling people, hey, look, I can afford this over this stuff like Roots. Obviously, Roots is a little bit less expensive. Starbucks is more expensive. You can go around saying,
That's actually a really good point. There have been studies that show that certain logos for certain companies, like Starbucks logo or even the Apple logo, trigger the same mechanism in your brain that religious symbol. The Starbucks symbol and the Apple symbol have the same psychological effect and mental effect that the cross or the Star of David has. So like you said, sometimes it's just about saying that you went to Starbucks. It's stuff like that. Everything that you guys are talking about that there's really no difference, but people still go there, that's where the psychology comes in. On paper, when you're in an economics class, you just learn that if the price is higher, then supply and demand is going to be low. That's not really hold true when it comes to places like Starbucks. Any other questions?